expert, Mr. Atul Bengeri, sir.
Thank you, Shabana ma'am. Good afternoon to everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce you our today's session expert, Mr. Atul Bengeri, sir. Mr. Atul Bengeri, sir, is the director at Human Play Private Limited. Sir is working extensively in the corporate world and academia across India and Asia Pacific. His educational qualification includes MS in Software System, MBA in Marketing, and PhD in Healthcare Informatics, Data Science from University of Pune. He is techno-academic entrepreneur, worked as a digital transformation trusted advisor and change management influencer, with the distinctive advantage of working on the latest technologies of IT infra, data center solution, SMAN mobility, cloud, big data, IoT, and AI. He has worked on design, development, policy influencing, and implementation activities focused in the education, healthcare, and government segment. At the same time, engages with the end user community for effective deployment of B2B and B2C content solutions. He has also worked on technical consulting, leading to product development, deployment, and market development activities focused in enterprise, comprising of government, smart city, education, healthcare, and SME industry segment with various technology intervention and solution based on Intel architecture. He has hold positions like implementation manager, industry manager, director, regional head, and vice president in various companies. To name a few, like Siemens, Intel, Dell, etc. Sir, today sir is going to guide us on research, IPR, and entrepreneurship opportunities. Now I would like to request Mr. Atul Bengeri, sir, to begin with today's session.
I would request our HOD Dr. P.P. Kubarta, sir, to give token of gratitude to our today's session expert, Mr. Atul Bengeri.
One second.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. Atul Bengeri, sir, to take over the charge.
Okay. So, five.
Echo, is this fine? Okay, wait.
So is this fine? It will not go now. But the thing is, when I play the video, and there is now the video play करें. Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Let me. Okay, so thank you so much for the invitation and warm welcome. You may all be wondering what is an industry person doing in a seminar and an FDP on national education policy. Well, there is a connect of industry academia, industry institution, but my association with national education policy goes beyond just the interface between academia and institution and the industry. It is a privilege that I had the opportunity of working on providing some policy inputs while the national education policy was being drafted. And I have a few friends on the panel who took it forward. Now, this is a story that I'm telling about probably 10 years back. Right, so if you wonder that the national education policy is something that has come out recently, yes, it has come out recently for implementation. But the discussion around having some changes that are supposed to be made, that are supposed to be implemented, that are supposed to be thought of, started probably a decade back. And that is when I was with the company Intel Technologies. And we at Intel, through our public policy and our other initiatives, we were engaging with the state governments and the central government to provide some inputs on the forward path for India's youth, the next generation. Well, education is something that we impart today to make them better citizens, better employable material for the future, isn't it? So that is what. So my talk today is on the holistic education, employability, entrepreneurship development, which I have given it an acronym called HEED. We definitely need to heed to the HEED. That's because education alone is not of much use today, unless and until I bring in the employability factor, the employability question. And well, employability is also not that enough when we talk about today's world. And today's world is all about entrepreneurship. So education leading to employability and entrepreneurship is what we need to look at. And when we talk about entrepreneurship, it's not that I want every one of the students to become an entrepreneur. No, we all are entrepreneurs in our own way. In whatever walk of our life we are in, whatever profession we are in, we are all entrepreneurs in our own way. So what is entrepreneurship all about? Entrepreneurship is all about implementing new ideas and bringing that value which will be beneficial for all the stakeholders. Right? And who are the stakeholders? For educators like you and me. The stakeholders, first and foremost stakeholder is the student. So what is in it for the student who is preparing today to face an uncertain future? And you might have all heard about the word VUCA world. Right? We are in a VUCA world. What is VUCA? VUCA has become even more prominent and predominant after the pandemic. VUCA is an acronym. V is for volatile, U for uncertain, C for complex, and A for ambiguous. Now it is completely confusing. We are in a VUCA world. I don't know what's going to happen. There is a lot of uncertainty. There is a lot of ambiguity. There is a lot of vulnerability and volatility. Now, with so many parameters that are against all of us, how is it that I will prepare for the future? Very difficult. And that is where the challenge is for all educators who are sitting here and who are also online, educators across India. I will not talk about anything beyond India because let's look internally first, and then we will talk about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Right? Charity begins at home. So let's fix our home first, and then we will look at what we can do to the world. We have fixed a lot of things, and we are showcasing that to the world now. Education has been something which has been of prime importance in India for not just centuries, but for thousands and thousands of years. While we are the cradle of democracy, we are also the cradle of quality education. It's time. This is the time to get it back. And national education policy is all about that. So if you look at it in the right perspective, you will know what exactly I am talking about and what exactly the national education policy is intending to achieve. Right, so let's go forward. Right, so this is something that we all need to know. If we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow. I can't be using techniques of yesterday to teach the students of today who are going to face the challenges of tomorrow. I need to change. I, as I'm referring to all educators, to all institutions, to all the colleges, to all the universities, to all the research and development agencies, and the government as well. And the best part of this national education policy is that they have acknowledged the fact. I think for the first time in the history of India, the government has acknowledged that there is some problem and we need to fix it. And that takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of initiative. That takes a lot of shift in the mindset, in the attitude of the entire nation. Let me substantiate this with a video, which is none other than probably the second or the third most powerful man in India as on today. There are a lot of unsung heroes in the back end who are toiling, who are sweating it out day in and day out to ensure that India reaches the next pedestal. And we capture the essence of what India is all about at the global arena. Right, so I'll come back to my presentation, but I should be sharing this video. This is a very crisp video which talks about data. Many of you might have got access to it. Many of you would have seen it also. I'm not sure. This is as recent. This is some India Invest summit that happened in New Delhi as latest as last week. And that is something that I'm going to play now. I'll pause in between to re-emphasize on the numbers. And those numbers are important for us to know because that is what will set the agenda. Okay, this is not any advertisement that I'm doing here for. I'm going to talk about, not I, sorry. I'm going to show this video because it talks about India. It talks about what India is today, what India will be tomorrow. And if you're following some of the developments, especially under the budget that was presented this year, it talks about 3 pillars on which India will progress for the next decade. And the first one is digital transformation, second is energy transformation, and the third is supply chain transformation. And it's a pleasant surprise and a pleasant thing for me to know that 2 of the things are already happening in parallel on campus. there is some EV summit happening, which is like, I will say, the energy transformation, right? You are all here for education transformation, and there is some other big plan for the digital transformation happening. So, except for supply chain management transformation, I think all the transformations are happening in parallel on the same campus. It's such a wonderful coincidence, I should say. And I think we deserve, yes, we deserve it all. Yes. So allow me to stop sharing my presentation and okay. Sometimes it's confusing, right? So, okay, I was sharing my presentation, I stopped, right? Oh, so now I need to. Okay, what is it that I want to show you is, okay, so hopefully it will work.
Yes, sir.
Maybe I will, if you can unmute there. Yeah, I will. Okay.
Okay,
There's still some
there's still some echo. So it's going to remain? Oh, well then, video. Okay. Let's check.
A banker. And I must tell you, Zareen, that some of the best
to bring FDIs into India. FDIs, foreign direct investments. Right, just listen, let's listen to him. I will increase the speed to, I'll increase the speed to 1.25x in the interest of time. He speaks slow. That is because he is addressing an international audience. And we Indians are generally known to speak fast. Yes. So we cover a lot. So his normal speed is boring for me. He speaks a lot of sense. He's speaking a lot of data. Right? So if you have a pen and paper, please note down if you can. It'll really enlighten you after we have gone out of this conference today and tomorrow. I will share the link as well with the organizers here. They will share it with you. It is a must watch for all of us because it is talking about data. He's substantiating it. And on an international forum like this, there is no iota of doubt because he would not be talking off the air. He is talking with substantiated data, proven data that is available for everyone to see. Right? So let me go full screen.
people we got in our bank was from yours. Now you would want to know where my bank was Citigroup, even though we said that we were the best. But that was many lifetimes ago. Thank you. And it was a pleasure hearing Mr. Bansal. I think that was great. I'll tell you what I'll do. We're talking about the future of India now. And I'll have about 15 minutes. Is that okay, Sanjeev? Which is what you've given me. Let me first tell you what I do so you'll have an idea where I'm coming in from. We were created in 2015 by the government. We are Invest India, the National Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency of the government. I have 4 verticals. The first one is investment promotion and facilitation. I'm the single point of contact for any investor coming into India. We give them a dedicated relationship manager. We help them with all the approvals, their business plan. And even after they set up the business, we are there to take care of it for them and walk the journey with them. Just to put in a small ad on that one, we are just about, 8 years old, and we've been ranked by the UN and the World Bank as the world's #1 investment promotion agency. That's just to let you know how fast India is changing. The second part, startup. India, we are the execution arm for Startup India. It's a fascinating story, and I'll mention a little of it as we speak about. From the first day when it was launched to getting even a definition of what a startup was, that's where the team worked, and we made that happen. The third is the Prime Minister's Science and Technology Initiative, where all innovation happening outside, we're trying to bring it into the government, be the armed forces or otherwise in agriculture. And all innovation in the system, we are trying to see how fast we can take it into commercialization. And the fourth part is very interesting. It's the digitization of a large part of the government's process, which includes the Prime Minister's dashboard where he monitors the economy and big projects, to also digitizing the entire investor journey, and I'll touch a little on that. In addition to that, the team also works on some of the other interesting initiatives. For example, making India a tourism destination, making India a wellness destination. More interestingly, which came up just now recently as a project, is making India a film content destination. And the entire Northeast states, to see the development of that, we have a special team. To see Jammu and Kashmir as a special team. By the way, my team is about today 454. We started with 3. Average age of the team, if you keep me out of it, is 29. It rises stupendously if you add me to it. But each one is IIT, IIM, Ivy League. They're all banking, finance, investment banking. They've come back globally. Each one in that team has
intro. So the real data or the strength of India is what we will get to know from here, right? Okay.
taken a pay cut from 7 to 93% to build a new India. Now with that, let me just step back and share with you what I'm seeing. You've heard a lot about the huge digitization change which is happening in India, and to my mind, that's one of the biggest things which for the first time in our history has created that sense of democratization in India. And that's for all of you who are with us in this hall and outside. Let me start with a sentence. This is the most unprecedented transformation in human history of the free world. The most unprecedented transformation in the history of the free world is what India is going through today. And I know it's a strong statement, and I'll back it up with a few numbers and where my thought is coming from. And I say that both in terms of the scale at which this change is happening and the pace at which this change is happening. But before I come to that, let me tell you why this is happening. I believe in that circle of life, that Lion King, Elton John song. I think that's one of my favorite ones. And I think that is our time, our circle of life has come in. And I'm not even taking you back to 1750, when a quarter of the world's GDP was from India. What is happening in India today? And guys, just step back. Forget your prejudices for a minute. Just think of it as what is happening as an experiment in human history. For the first time in my history of 5,000 years, all my 3 pillars of change, which is of every society and any society, social, economic, and political, are going through a rapid transformation all at the same point of time, creating that singularity of that transformation and disruption.
Yeah, so what he is saying is the first time in the history of humankind, 3 disruptions and 3 transformations are happening. What are those 3 transformation pillars? Economic, social, and political. And to back all of this, education is one thing that is driving all these 3. I will come to the national education policy after we listen to him. Let's finish off with his video. We will look at some of the data points. And then let's start feeling a little proud that we are all Indians. We are in India. And we are here to capture the world, which we are doing in our own sweet way. Now is the time to actually take off. And our responsibility is to pass it on to the next generation. It reminds me of an English proverb, right? Experience is like a comb. And experience is like a comb. You get it only when you get bored. Right? I can see a lot of hair here, so if that statement is true, that means I have a comb with me. And what do I do with it? I can't use it. I'll have to definitely give it to others. Right? So experience is like a comb, which you get only when you get bored. So the only thing you do is pass it on to others. Right? So that's exactly the responsibility all of us have. And what is that responsibility that we can ride on? Or what is that heritage that we can pass it on to the next generation? While we can talk about our culture, our rich heritage, all of it is fine, but there is something else that is brewing, that is building up. There is a tsunami that's going to come. We are experiencing it already, and he is going to talk about those numbers. You will look at the tsunami of numbers. Some numbers may be unbelievable. Some numbers may be extraordinary. Some numbers you may think they are out of the world. Yes, they are. But that is the fact. That is the truth that we are in today. Okay, so let's listen to it. Sir, if you can hold the mic. Yes.
Disruption. Let me start with it. And since I told you I work on the set of investors, let me start with you on my numbers of FDI. The total FDI I've received in my history from 1947 has been about $950 odd billion. 532 of them has come in the past 90 months.
Okay, let me stop. I'll summarize it. The total FDI investment in India in the last 75 years has been close to around $950 billion. 75 years, $915 billion. And in the last 90 months, it's close to $532 billion. Do the math. Right? I'm not here to score on for any political reasons. I'm here to talk about national education policy. But then these figures, these numbers are important for all of us to know, because this is what I need to pass it on to my next generation to know what is the opportunity that they have. What is the wave that they need to ride on? What is the trend that is shaping up that will help them shape their career? Right, so changes are happening as we speak. National education policy is going to aid this even further. The statements from Indian leaders of saying that I will be energy sufficient by 2030 is a very strong statement that they have made. If you all think of it, in the next 7 years, if I'm going to be energy efficient, that means I'm not going to be dependent on anybody for crude oil. I will not be dependent on coal. Of course, we are not. But for any energy producing material, I will not be dependent on anybody else. That's a big achievement for any country. And probably India will be the first in 2030 from the developing countries lot to achieve that. That's just one of it. We will look at many such numbers. We speak about being a multi-trillion-dollar economy. How is that going to happen? Sometimes it looks to be like a fantasy story. After listening to him, you will know that it is not fantasy, it is real, and we are on the right path of achieving it. That is on the economic side of it. Isn't it our responsibility to be part of all of this growth story? Of course, yes. But before being part of it, let me be aware of the story, and then probably I'll participate in it even more enthusiastically. Right? That's the reason we are looking at this video. Yes, please.
532. Let me tell you more. It's come from 162 countries. It's a global record. Remember, FDI.
So the $532 billion that are coming to India as FDI has come from not just 5, 6, 7 or 10, 15 countries. It has come from 162 countries. What does it actually say? It talks about the trust and the confidence these countries have on India, in India. Many of the folks from US are setting their shop here. And when I say many of them, I'm not talking about the big companies, I'm not talking about the tech companies, I'm not talking about the manufacturing companies. I'm talking about the venture capitalists. I'm talking about the huge fund offices who were in the Silicon Valley of US, California. They are packing their bags, shifting their base, complete lock, stock and barrel to be in India for the next 20 years. On LinkedIn with some of my friends, I am seeing that happening. I am seeing the announcements coming from individuals. The folks who have invested billions and billions of dollars have posted pictures of their trolley bag at the airport saying that I'm done with the US, next 20 years I'm going to be in India. But that talks something that, yes, something is happening. Something is happening, and whatever that something is, it's good. It's good that is happening for the present and for the future. Right? Okay.
It's not just about that dollar coming in. FDI is about trust. FDI is about the world's trust in you, in your future, in your leadership, in your opportunity, in your entrepreneurship, and your ability to partner with them and to deliver on their faith and trust in you. 162. And let me tell you, for 8 consecutive years from 2015, we set up a new FDI record for ourselves every year. Even in the midst of the lockdown in 2022, the most unprecedented lockdown in human history, you received your highest ever FDI of $83.5 billion. Highest ever. Let me tell you the second part of your FDI. It's come across 61 sectors, a global record. The breadth of...
So So the investment is not just in IT. The investment is not just in infrastructure. The investment is not just in education, not just in healthcare. I know only these many sectors. They are talking about 61 sectors. Probably if I start counting, each one of us may know a max of 10 sectors, if I include defense. Defense is one big sector India has opened up. And if you have been following news, Aero India show, which happens every year in Bangalore, happened recently, 10 days back. Unprecedented. There were over 150 countries' representatives who came to India to buy Indian technology, Indian defense technology. That is the scale at which we are talking about. 61 sectors. Now, okay, these are all numbers, but look at it. What is in it for all of us? All of us is basically, I'm including the students whom you will be interacting, whom you will be coaching, whom you will be mentoring, whom you will be preparing them for the future. They have 61 odd sectors to look for opportunities. 61 odd sectors where they can look for entrepreneurships. They can build something. And many of the big things that we talk about Google, talk about Facebook, talk about Tesla, they all come from campuses like the colleges and the universities. They have not been invented by any company. These are all new ideas that were born on campuses like this. So that's why we say it's not just education, employability, it is entrepreneurship now. We will look at entrepreneurship and startup data that will baffle all of you. Let's go home.
Of opportunity which India presents today is unprecedented. No other country in the world has got an FDI across 61 sectors, and that number is increasing. Remember, I told you the most unprecedented transformation? It's just started. And let me tell you the third part to that. To me, which is the most gratifying. It's come in 31 states and union territories of India.
This is again important. No longer the big cities taking the cream. If it is IT, we say Bangalore, Hyderabad. If we talk about probably manufacturing, we say Pune. If we talk about finance, we say Mumbai. If we talk about something else, probably I will go to Chennai or maybe Delhi. No. These 61 odd sectors and $532 billion FDIs have got into 31 states. Of course, these numbers are wrong. 31 states includes 29 states plus 2 union territories, which includes the Northeast and the 2 new union territories that got formed like Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. Right? So huge investment coming in. And why are we talking about investment? Is because it is going to lead to a lot of opportunities. And those opportunities are what are available for the students of tomorrow. Right? Okay.
The new engine of India, the new growth of India is bottom up. The new growth of India is inclusive. The new growth of India is not just the 7 big cities of this country, but every small little town, which for the first time in my history is a part of my entire growth process, where they can participate and they can partake from it. And let me tell you the other last part of my FDI. 93% of that number came in the open route. That means it did not require any special approvals. I remain one of the most open economies on the planet, with the private sector and the global partner having the ability to play a role and partner with me in each and every sector of my economy, be it defense or be it any other. Let me take you to a top block to that. I'm at GDP today of 3.5 trillion. Am I right, Zareen? Close to that number.
Our Our economy is $3.5 trillion. Yeah. We recently overtook a country that ruled us. UK. UK was fifth, we were sixth. We overtook them a few months back. Not few months back, probably a month back. We became the fifth largest economy in the world. It is something to really feel proud of. And these are not numbers that any Indian is talking. These are numbers coming from World Bank and the whole world is accepting it. Right? So this is nothing to do with any one person. I'm not taking anybody's names. Nor am I a fan of any one person. I'm a fan of India. And this is about India. So what is happening is that we overtook one of the top 5 economies of the world. And we are one of the top 5 today. It's a great achievement, but we're not going to stop there. 3.5 trillion. Look at the numbers, okay? Look at these numbers. Look at the timelines, right? Very interesting.
Let me give you the story of my GDP. The first trillion took me 67 years. The second trillion took me 8 years. The third trillion took me 5 years. Are you seeing where I'm progressing?
To become a $1 trillion economy, it took me 67 years. And what is 67 years? It's actually from the time I got independence from UK, from the British, right? So we're talking about 1947. It took me 67 odd years. Yeah, there were a lot of issues then. We had to give a lot of money to our neighboring country to farm and to bloom and to take care of themselves. But we know what they have done to themselves. Good luck to them. That is not the point here. It took 67 odd years for us to become a $1 trillion economy. The next $1 trillion came in 8 years. That means from 1 trillion to 2 trillion, I achieved that in 8 years. From 2 trillion to 3 trillion, we did it in 5 years. We are at 3.5. Look at the pace. Look at the speed at which we are catching up. Right? That is something unprecedented. Some unbelievable things are happening. Right? So that's why I thought, let me just put this in the perspective and then we will talk about anything. Yeah.
Progressing, but let me tell you something more interesting. From 2015 until now, that is what? We are 9 years? I moved ahead of Russia, Italy, Brazil, France, UK, from number 10 to number 5 in size of my GDP. I'm knocking at Germany. By the end of this year or early next year, I become number 4.
This is a strong statement. I overtook Italy, I overtook Russia. Even that's okay. The most important achievement is that I overtook somebody who ruled me for 200 years. And that is a change in the mindset of Indians. Not just Indians, it is a change in the mindset of the whole world to look at India. Hindi aata hai? Yes. I just heard that a container load of Bernal was sent to UK. On a lighter note. They are not able to digest the fact that a country that they ruled for these many years and they think they still rule us has overtaken them. This is a statement that we are making at the international arena. And with the presidency of G20, there is no looking back. There is no looking back. And the Sherpa, the G20 Sherpa, Sri Amitabh Kant, who was the CEO of Niti Aayog, is spearheading G20 for India. India is the president. We are driving. And in the past, what we have done vaccine diplomacy, wherein we have won close to around 180 countries' hearts. We have done a lot of evacuation missions. The recent one was that of Turkey and Syria. We are showing the world what we are good at. And what are we good at? Humanity. No, not just humanity. They are good at economy also. Right? Our Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is not just a word, right? It has deep-rooted meaning. Let's live up to it. And that is exactly what national education policy is also talking about, that let me bring the Indianness in the Indian education system. Enough of Mary had a little lamb, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Enough of it. London Bridge is falling down. Rain, go away. अरे मराठी जना येत असेल तेव्हा ये रे पाऊस आला. Rain, go away is not Indian culture. Right? So basic things, there needs to be a fundamental change, and that is what national education policy is talking about. And why we need all this is because this is the growth engine that we are riding on. Numbers. Okay.
And before the pandemic, I was the fastest growing large economy on the planet. And after the pandemic, I am the fastest growing large economy on the planet.
I have no doubts. Before pandemic, I was the fastest growing large economy in the world. After pandemic also, I am maintaining that status. Made a statement. Let's watch for it. End of 2023, I will be Germany.
बघ बाबा हा बोल
Sorry, somebody?
हा
Okay, maybe we should mute.
आठवलंयस बघते थांब
Okay, so let's look at end of 2023 to see whether we will overtake Germany. If not December, probably in a year, January, February, the ho hi jayega. What would that mean? That means the pace at which we are growing is shrinking. 67 to 8 to 5 to 2. In a matter of less than 2 years, I will be going to from 3 trillion to 4 trillion. And now you can see that a promise that we have made to ourselves that India will be a $30 trillion economy by 2047 can be a reality. If I'm adding a trillion every year and I'm already crossing 4 by 2023, how many years do I have to 2047? 25 years, 24 years. Adding another 30, 40 should be like a cricket match, last over 6. Yes, possible. That is the growth engine India is getting into. You all know the avalanche, the concept of avalanche.
Yes.
Like snow, when you're in the snow, it starts with a small, it goes, it starts building. It builds because of the momentum. The momentum is getting built. It is just that we need to ride on it. And the avalanche actually comes and destroys the lowlands. India is not going to do that. India is actually going to take the whole world along with it. And I'm not talking just in air. Let me prove it to you. What we have done in the last 15-20 days. Air India has placed the highest number of aircraft order in the aviation history. 480 aircrafts ordered by Air India. That is the highest order, one size order placed by anybody in the world till now. This is India for you. The youth should know this. I'm telling you so that you can pass it on. 480, not a joke. I go to probably some Tata Motor dealer hai yahan pe baaju. He may not have 480 vehicles parked there. We are talking about ordering 480 aircrafts. for Air India alone. What does that actually mean? That Air India is going to be the next international airlines for the world. Okay, it doesn't stop there. What they did, India is playing really smart. What they did, they split the order between Airbus and Boeing, the only two major airline manufacturers in the world. One is in France, the other is in the US. And you might have seen Joe Biden, Macron, and Rishi Sunak, all three coming together. Excuse me, what is Rishi Sunak doing here? Airbus is in France. Boeing is in the US. So I can understand Macron and Joe Biden coming. What is Rishi Sunak doing here? Rishi Sunak become. All three came and thanked India for creating 1 million jobs each. Joe Biden said, the order from Air India is going to create 1 million jobs in my 40 states. I cannot thank enough. I cannot thank India for this favor. Harsha Bogle tweets. Harsha Bogle, he tweets. I never thought in my lifetime that I would see such a thing from the president of the US thanking India for creating jobs in the US. This is where India is today. Look at it, what is happening? US is under severe recession. Thanks to Russia. UK is under severe recession. Thanks to Russia. What did Russia do? He just attacked Ukraine a year back. उससे फायदा किसका हुआ? इंडिया का हो रहा है. अरे दोस्त हो तो ऐसा. Right? Okay, let's come to something serious. So we split the order. Okay, we are talking about Rishi Sunak, right? Why is Rishi Sunak there? Rishi Sunak is there because, if you all don't know, the aircraft engines are supplied by one major company in the world, which is in UK. So Airbus is going to place order in UK with the company there. I will tell you which one, for aircraft engines. Boeing is going to place order for aircraft engines. So एक तीर में हमने कितने निशान साधे? We are completely नहीं पता नहीं कितने. We are completely eliminating recession from the world. Look at it that way. That is the power of India today. Who's talking about recession now? India was never talking about recession. The whole world was in trouble. India was not in trouble. And we are proving Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam by ensuring that the whole world is out of recession now, just by placing 480 aircraft. Come on, give me a break. You just needed 480 aircraft order. 2 days fast forward. This all happened some 10 days back, last 8 days back. Our private sector, right? Private airlines like the Indigo, SpiceJet, Go Air, they come and make an announcement of saying that we are going to place 1,200 aircraft order. Finish. What recession? Who's under recession? Nobody. Now, Air India to international ban jayega. Now, with these private players making such tall claims, what is happening is that India will have at least 4, if not 5, international airlines operating from India. Look at any country in the world, including the US. It doesn't have more than 2 or 3 international or national carrier kind of thing. International national carrier. Australia has one, Qantas. UK has one, Cathay Pacific. France has Air France. Germany has Lufthansa. That's it. It stops there. US may have 2, 3, but they're not that international. Emirates, one from Dubai, Qatar, one from Qatar. That's it. Saudi. Every country has one international airlines. With this intervention that's going to happen, we're going to have 4, if not 5. International. What are we doing? We are capturing the airlines market. And we're going to do that in the next 5 to 6 years. किसकी कितनी बाजार है किसी को पता नहीं. Like, think of it. And then in the recent budget, as I told you, digital transformation, energy transformation, and supply chain transformation. India is spearheading the solar power or non-renewable power foundation across the world. India is showing the path. India is partnering with all various different countries to become an advisor to them. We are consultant to them on many such initiatives. New age fuel, not just the lithium battery or solar, we're talking about hydrogen. Probably going forward, we'll talk about something else. That's the research and development that is happening. Right? So enough of this. These numbers are quite impressive. I will share this video link. You can take a look at it. You can pass it on to whomever you feel would be interested to look at. The point that I'm making is, because of such great strides that India is taking, I can't afford to lose out on the momentum. When I say I am talking about India. And the momentum is something that we are part of it. We are all part of it. But the ones who are going to drive it, the ones who are going to ride on it are our students. We need to enable them, equip them, empower them to be capable of capitalizing on the opportunity that is getting created. I was told that this college, some of the pass out students have at least 3, 4 offers in their hand. That's quite a big achievement. That goes to prove that there is no dearth of opportunity. It is the dearth of the skill set, and the knowledge that is needed to solve the problems of the VUCA world. We are in a VUCA world. And if in this VUCA world, this difference we can make, look at the potential, look at the power, and look at the opportunities. Right, there are a lot more numbers he speaks about. We don't have enough time. I will cover my stuff. I have time till 4 o'clock or 4:30. 4:30? Okay. Let me stop sharing and go back to my presentation. So we get back to muting there, and I will. How is it, sir? How will you manage? Let it go the way it is. I can speak on the mic. Oh. So let me share my presentation. Right. So yes, this is where I was. Right. Yes. So, while we speak about all the various different development that is happening, we also know that learning is changing. Thanks to pandemic, it actually helped a lot of us to catapult into a different orbit. So, what is the change that is happening? Place-based learning has.
So can you share through?
Did I share my group? Oh, sorry, screen share. Screen share, right? Yes, it's just give me. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So we go to the presentation. Okay. Yes. Okay. So place-based learning. This is like I need to be in a place to learn, which is like my college, my school, my university. traditional way of looking at learning. That has been replaced, or not replaced, that has been overlapped with space and pace-based learning. I can learn in my own space, it can be anywhere. I can learn at my own pace because there are fast learners, there are slow learners, I need my time, I need little more practice, I need to revise, I need to listen to it again and all of it. And so space and pace-based learning, which is basically what we call as blended learning model. Blended learning model or hybrid model is something that has taken shape. It has been there for a long time. Thanks to pandemic, this has taken shape faster than what we thought would take. And the other thing is, this is a dangerous trend that is happening, wherein machines are learning and humans are hooked. We are all hooked to the machines and the machines are learning. Now, why I'm saying a dangerous trend? Because we don't know what machines are going to do. So we better know what machines are learning before they do something that is harmful to humans. There have been instances that the machines misbehave and we had to turn it off. But before doing that, we need to know what is the machine learning? Is it that we are teaching the machines to learn? And that's where the machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science is taking shape. Right? The latest one in this list is the Chat GPT. Yeah, how can it be on? And is it really relevant when we talk about national education policy? Oh yes, very much relevant. Is it going to change anything? It's going to change a lot of things. But I think that's a different topic for some other day. We will probably see if it all we meet. But then let's come to this. What is the national education policy talking about? It's a humongous document. The draft document itself was very big. So we're not getting into all of that. Right? So it talks about challenges, gaps, and nuances. It talks about aligning with the 21st century skills, focus on learning and making students future ready in terms of education and employability. I should add entrepreneurship also. There is no much of emphasis in the draft and the final document, but they mention about vocational training and skill development, which will lead to entrepreneurship. Right? So this is the vision I was talking about. It talks about envisions an India-centered education system that contributes directly to transform our nation sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all. We no longer call it an information society. We no longer call it educated society. We call it knowledgeable society. So it is about the knowledge that I will have about a lot of things that I will be using going forward. And that leads us to this 21st century framework, which talks about changes at all these different levels of changing the learning environment, opportunities for professional development, changes in curriculum and instructions, and standards and assessments which are going to change. Because I can't teach, nor can I assess the students and the next generation the way I used to teach and assess them yesterday. I need to assess them to an extent that they are made capable to compete with the students of all other countries. We are far, far behind when it comes to skill development. We are far, far behind when we talk about employability skills. Forget about entrepreneurship. So it's important that I focus on high area skills, innovation and learning skills, core subjects and 21st century thinking, information media and technology skills. That's the least of my problem. Yes, that is something which the national education policy talks about. So what is the name for you? I just summarize, and then I will straight away go to what is it that we can do together. While you all know about national education policy, let's get to what we can do together. But let me just finish with this slide. Holistic development of learners. Remember, holistic development, not just that they are 95, 9.5 CGPA, 96%. No, that's not enough. Holistic development by reducing curriculum content to enhance essential learning and critical thinking. Challenge their thought process. Engineering, science, technology is all about analytical thinking, critical thinking, logic, reasoning, which will lead to problem solving. And that's exactly what national education policy is talking about. Experiential learning, integrated learning, right? Empower students to flexibility, course choices. It's like a hop on option is available to me. And many of you would know that students after a year of engineering decide that they would not want to pursue because that's not their passion. Or maybe they're not able to cope up with the engineering subjects. Well, when they drop out, at least they should not lose out a year. They would be given some certificate. So they would get a certificate, a diploma, a degree, and a post, something like that, okay, for 4 years of engineering. So empower students to flexibility in course choices, multilingualism, and the power of language. So why do you think local language engineering syllabus, local language medical syllabus has been making the news in the last 1.5 years? There have been many colleges in and around Pune, of course in Maharashtra also, who started engineering courses in Marathi language. There have been a few colleges in UP and MP who started medicine teaching in Hindi. It really resonates well with the Indian audience. I can't be judging an Indian by just one language. It is unfair for anybody to judge an Indian just whether he knows English or not. Just because I'm here talking good English doesn't mean I'm well educated. A person who's highly educated in his mother tongue, it could be any language in India, 33 official languages, probably thousands of dialects, doesn't mean that they don't have the knowledge. Rather, they have more knowledge than the students who have studied in English medium. That is the strength of India. That is something that is coming to the fore. There may be issues. Yes, everything new would have its own challenges, would have its own issues. That's because of humans. They're dealing with humans. And humans resist change. We don't like changes. Whether change hota hai to pareshani hoti hai. Just think about something that I'm doing for the last 20, 40 odd years. If I have to change it, kitna taklif hoga? So that's why I will resist as much as I can. But looking at the pace and the scale and the objective that India as a country wants to achieve, and nobody is going to listen to you. If you object it, good luck to you. If you don't object, you want to be part of the growth story, accept as soon as possible, be a part of it, participate, go forward. Don't want to be part of it, it's always next in the world. Nobody's going to stop you. That is the pace at which India is working. So it's better we get used to it. Right? So curriculum integration of essential subjects, skills, and capacities. And I was told, and I rather knew to some extent that this college has already implemented a lot of points. 12 out of the 14 points, 10 out of the 12. Almost, yes, has been implemented, which is a good achievement to start with. And then you can improvise because this is going to be continuous. So what are you actually doing? You are enabling lifelong learning skills, abilities, attitude, aptitude in the learner. Why? Because we are in a VUCA world. The subjects that you are teaching today will be of no use to them tomorrow. So why should we teach them? Right? Why should I teach them a subject which is not going to be used in the future? Well, I can't change the curriculum all of a sudden, right? There is a mechanism, there is a system. But then we can equip them with the trends, telling them that guys, whether you are in electrical, mechanical, civil engineering, or aeronautical engineering, you definitely need to know a little bit about data science. You need to know a little bit about statistics. Right? I finished my engineering in 1996, class of 96. And when I finished my engineering then, yeah, you know, see that I'm a fossil, yeah, I'm from, yeah, it's a long time back, right? So when we finished our engineering, jobs were scarce, not as what it is here now today, right? Thankfully, the Y2K problem helped us.
Yes.
Right, so I was sharing with Sachin sir while we were coming to pick me up. I was saying Wipro, I was in Mysore, right? Wipro and Infosys headquartered in Bangalore. They used to come to Mysore weekends, right? They used to camp for 4 days in the engineering colleges. We used to have our interviews going on till late night, 9:30, 10, and then offer letter, immediate truckload, Bangalore. Not necessarily only computer science engineers. They took engineer, let's go. Right, but of course you have to pass their aptitude test. And aptitude test for computer science graduates, it was 80% and above. For non-computer science, even if it's 60%, they would take you. That was the need at that point in time. And what was it for? To work on coding. COBOL is like, oh my goodness, just by looking at it, it would look like a novel to me. Or it would be like a novel. Oh my goodness, okay, where is the story of it? What was the engineer state? Find and replace. In today's world, the work that engineers we all did at that point in time in 96, 97 till 2001, they find and replace. Oh my goodness, see you laughing? Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And by find and replace, they wanted engineers. Oh my goodness, what a waste of talent, what a waste of degree. Right? But then it was something which was such a big thing because many of them wouldn't have seen a computer space. Forget about working on a computer. Forget about writing a piece of code. Oh my goodness. And fast forward 23 years now, 25 years, right? Today, they are back to the same thing. Right? Yes. What are we doing? Copy paste. Place what engineer was doing. This engineer today is doing copy paste using Google and GitHub. This is not going to take them to places. This is something that we did 25 years back. Excuse me. Engineers, please don't do shortcuts. Build a GitHub rather than using GitHub for copy and paste. Build something like GitHub. Build something like ChatGPT. Why do you think ChatGPT? India. That's because we are busy copy paste. And you need to come out of it. And you saw the video. There is an opportunity and that is happening. Let me tell you. Go to a Google search for Deepak Verma, who is the architect of India Stack, Aadhaar, and UPI. UPI is making great inroads into the world. Very recently, US started using UPI. No longer MasterCard, no longer Visa. India, UPI. And just for your information, 2022, India contributed to 41% of online transactions in the world. I give you numbers. India contributed to 41% of online transactions in the world. My cousin had come here last year from the US. And he's with that money in his pocket. Right? Dollar converted to Indian rupees or coming here and going to an ATM and drawing Indian rupees coming here. And when we go here and there, especially we took them to Lakshmi Road, right? We took them to Good Spa. Yeah. And then it was all cash. Was. This guy's coming after saying he's carrying thousands and thousands of notes in his pocket, and he wants to going there. They're just scanning. They're just scanning and paying the money. They're like, no, wait, I will pay for it. I use my Google Pay, Phone Pay, all of that. And it's just, oh, you are online. I said, welcome to India. This is the new India. This is that 1%. And let me tell you the numbers. 2022, we did 48 billion transactions. Yes, you will fall off your chair. 48 billion transactions in 2022 alone. That constitutes to 41%. Okay? Now the second. First के बाद second को होगा. Second was 18 billion. 18 billion. 18 billion. We did 48 and the nearest one is at 18 billion. See the difference? See the scale. And what happened in India that this actually took off? UPI. One small intervention. Digital transformation. Now UPI is going into 120 countries in the world. Who's going to make money? India is going to become the economic capital of the world very soon. I don't know when. But when it comes to digital transactions, this is what we are in. And it all started with that Aadhaar architecture. We keep hearing about the Jan Dhan Aadhaar mobile. The linking of it is what has helped us talking about these big numbers. And the whole world is on numbers. Business is all about numbers. Economy is all about numbers. Where are the numbers? The numbers are in India. Let's talk about numbers a little bit. Okay. India's population of 140 billion today. We're just like the largest population in the world. We just would be overtaking China very soon. We are already overtaking. Think to feel problem? Yes, today, think to feel problem. 15 years back, it was a thing to feel ashamed of. That is how we were made to feel. Right? That was what was told to us saying that, oh my goodness, most populous country, Germany, no infrastructure. No more. Of that 140 billion, let me tell you, 100 billion is of the age of 35 and below. Demographic dividend. India is the youngest country and is going to remain the youngest country till 2070. Till the time many of us would be gone. But it's going to be the youngest country till 2070. How many years more? 47 years more. Which means to say that why am I talking about 55 and 35 and 8 years? Right? So 100 billion of the 140 billion. What is the percentage? Do some math. Okay? 35 or 40 it will come 110 billion. This is the age wherein every individual is at his or her peak of productivity, peak of efficiency, peak of attaining, doing something different. That is the advantage that India has, which no other country has. Even if we export the talent to all the countries, we will still be the largest. And by the way, there is no export that is going to happen. It will all import. You heard people about it. They started with 3 or 4 of them. Today they are 450 plus. All of them are IIM, IIT, Ivy League, investment bankers, finance, MBA, who have served work in very large corporations. He was heading Citicorp, Citibank, as an investment banker. He's the think tank, directly under the PMO, directly reporting to the PM on a daily basis. He's driving. So that's why I call him the second most influential and powerful person in India. And I'm not referring to the first person, to the one whom you are thinking. The first most powerful individual who's ensuring that we are having that smile on our face, we are safe, secure, and we don't have to worry about any 9/11s or 26/11s. Is RNI. He is the most powerful. Second is Deepak Babu. Others are elected representatives. That is not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to these warriors. These are the guys who are shaping India. It's only that the political will is helping them achieve. Right? So, coming back to this, we are enabling that lifelong learning because when I did my engineering, right, I told you that story. Even today, we never study statistics in engineering, do we? Okay, started. Right? After 20 years of doing my engineering, I was made to look like a fool. So what the hell, you know statistics? Engineering, what statistics? What statistics? Today, a person who knows statistics is like a hot cake. Yes. Will be picked up by, you name it, you want a growth package, come over. Yes. Statistics, study on it. That is important. See, suddenly, a new skill, a new knowledge, a new subject is in demand. And all these 20 years, I was thinking engineers are the greatest. Now I am told that you are nothing. This is the change that happens. And the change is actually happening even faster. So that's why we need to enable our learners to be lifelong learners. They need to know how to learn quickly. They need to know how to learn and quickly. Because technology is changing. Technology is rather disrupting on a daily basis. Every day there is something new that comes up. And my syllabus, which is old enough, is not going to cater to what is going to come tomorrow. 4 months back, we didn't know ChatGPT will become so very famous. All of a sudden, this about ChatGPT. You know what's going to come tomorrow? There are hundreds, there are at least 10 such things that are in the pipeline. ChatGPT is just one of it. There's something more than this coming. So why can't I do something different and come out with something of an Indian version? Probably. Yeah. So let me go through this one that I've covered. Yeah. So I've covered all of this. But let me talk about all this is covered. Okay. I refer to this martial investment. What you want to get you there. And we know exactly where we want to be. We want to be the world's largest economy. We have overtaken UK. We are almost going to overtake Germany by the end of the year. What is Germany's GDP? Probably close to around 4.5, 4.6 trillion dollars. We are already crossing 3.5 There's just one more. So by the end of the year or maybe by end of February 2024, I would overtake children. So what does there's not going to be there? I have to do something different. I have to do something more. I have to do something else also. So all the challenges. This is the report. Future of job 2020. I took it up there because the challenges remain even today the same thing. 40 to 50% of existing jobs are automated already. Already, they are automated. Thanks to machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, this automation has killed a lot of jobs. Okay, there's a problem. This is a challenge, but there's a solution also. Industries facing severe crunch of employable resources. Oh, on one end, 40-50% automation. In spite of that, there is a severe crunch of employable resources. That means there is a lot of gap. Unemployment scenario is quite huge, not just in India, across the world. This is not India report, by the way. This is a report of World Economic Forum. So this is skill-based employment on the rise. I am employing folks who have specific skills. Statistics was one example. Application of statistics and mathematics and computer engineering, computer science and programming is data science today for me. Data science would have machine learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning about it. Anybody can learn. A kid who's not even past 10th can be good in data science. So what is the big deal of an engineer? Engineers are here to put in that structure, put in that systematic approach, the analytical thinking, the logic behind all what they keep doing and connect a lot of dots to solve the problem. Right? So that is a skill. And 21st century skills becoming paramount. Right? So there's a report by PwC, Skills of the Future, how to thrive in the complex new world. And the World Economic Forum says by 2022, everyone will need an extra 101 days of learning. Where am I going to get this? Why? Because the new skills that are needed by the industry, the whole world is VUCA world, so things are changing at a rapid pace. So I would need to learn a lot of new things. So I would need those 101 extra learning days. Where am I going to get it from? It's from the blended learning model. The blended learning model, wherein many of them are connected, 10 participants who are connected online. Classic example of blended learning. Right? If they were to participate even more, it would have been better. But yes, there's a lot of things that are going online and helping folks. So what is the plan of action? We need to look at an integrated, interrelated, and interconnected approach. Interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary. And what better way to do it on a campus like engineering and management and all of them coming together? Skills, abilities, and competencies mapping is very essential. Right? So this is what we talk about, the 3 E's: employability, education, and entrepreneurship. New age technology mapping, which I just spoke about. Career orientation, which is industry relevancy, bring about. Management for all streams. I need management principles to be applied to engineering principles. Because it's all about finance, it's all about strategies, it's all about marketing, right? So all of it has to come in. And entrepreneurship awareness and development initiatives. I was here a couple of years back talking about entrepreneurship. And they were expecting that I, being an entrepreneur, or rather a struggling entrepreneur, they were all expecting that I will come and enthuse and influence all of the audience to become entrepreneurs. I discouraged all of them from becoming entrepreneurs because listen, until you don't know what you're doing, you don't decide. Don't just go with the wave. Like, oh, I'm doing this competition. Everyone is different, so it's important. And then, of course, the 3 of them, which is the industry institute interface, is very essential to keep pace, to keep in line, and align with the necessary skills. And that is where the HEAD model comes in place. Holistic education, employability, entrepreneurship development, which is, I'm not going to leave you without giving you a roadmap, right? So this is what I've already spoken. Interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary approach to design, develop, and deploy industry relevant systems, processes, and products. And so just mentioned before while we were having lunch, is that this institute has already having time with at least 3-4 industries who are working closely in defining and developing the curriculum. Very essential. This is something that every institute, every higher education institute has to do with it. Is that so? Furthermore, inculcating the holistic skills and building strong foundational abilities. What is it? Foundational abilities are different for different streams. For engineering, the foundational abilities is that critical thinking, your analytical approach, your structural approach, your logic, your reasoning. Whereas if I go to a commerce stream, it is all about churning numbers. It is that numeracy which will play a role there. If I go to arts, probably it's something else. Right? So foundational abilities are not to be lost because all of a sudden data science is in demand. Will I stop teaching them programming? No. The programming has become even more important now. In spite and despite of GitHub and ChatGPT, there is still a lot of human intelligence that is needed by the industry. And most important, all faculties, departments, institutes need to interact to create new usage models and designs. Usage models, come out with small courses, maybe a department from MBA, which is like finance and electrical engineering, come together to come out with a small model or a small course, which will have the relevancy of finance in the electrical engineering stream, or the electrical engineering stream looking at finance to be able to come out with an entrepreneurial idea or venture, something like that. Small modules of maybe 10, 15, 20 hours kind of thing. That will come. That will help the faculty and the department and the institutes also to think beyond what they're doing now, which will help them in aligning with the future trends. These are some things that is already available to all of us. And if I don't have it in campus, I always get tired. Right? So, that proposes a CED model. The CED model is basically conceptualize or maybe connect, effective engagement, and deliver. Now, unless and until I don't conceptualize and connect with various different departments, various different disciplines, I will not be able to have that effective engagement. Well, what will I engage with? If I don't have enough content, if I don't have enough material, I will not be able to engage. And it's not just enough to have the connect and engagement. I need to have an effective delivery mechanism as well. So that's the CED model, and just an illustration as to how all of this actually comes into my national education policy. Holistic development of vocational skills, skills of the future, interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary approach. So we no longer need to be looking at only STEM education, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. I need to give a STEAM to the STEM. And that STEAM is that arts and humanity as well. There's no longer the importance only to your logic and reasoning. You need to have that arts and humanity side also, which is the sympathy, the empathy, the human aspect, the human side. Because we are dealing with climate change. We need to look at sustainability as one of the major aspects going forward in any innovation, in any entrepreneurial venture, in anything new that we do, whether it is an intervention, whether it is a disruption, or it is an invention. Right? So I'll end with this note. I will cover the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Thank you so much. If there are any questions, I will take it. Any? Yes, please.
One thing I would like to add,
Yes, sir.
Ruby is going to world business now. So I think.
Yeah, so that's one more thing for us to feel proud of. Probably rupee may vary with dollar, but that's real wishful thinking. You never know. With the UPI, I think we have already done that in a very subtle manner. With a digital intervention, probably we have made an entry there. And yes, sir. हिंदी में बोल रहा है तो आपके मुंह में घी शक्कर बहुत जल्दी हो जाए ये बहुत जल्दी काम है
Push at least some businesses.
yeah it's happening yes and that is something again a thing to not just feel proud of but also to think as to how's that happening right the engineers or from the science background we never pay any attention to the commerce side of it. We just don't understand all of this. How much for that? Then how is it happening? Then let me tell you, an engineering mind, right? The folks who are into STEM, not just engineering, or science stream, they have a very fertile brain. Because I have activated more neurons than anybody else. Right? I'm doing biology also. We have activated more neurons than anybody else. How is that so? I take engineering example, right? Engineers make a world. That's what they want to do. Right? They still are, but they are involved in other things. Actually, they have to do this. 3 semesters of engineering. At least 7 subjects every semester.
5 and plus 3 practical.
5 plus 3 practical.
But major, minor.
Yeah, so 8 subjects every semester, sir. Major, minor, project work, mini project. 8 into 8, 64. Tell me one course on this planet Earth.
Now, sir, we are including biology for engineers. Then knowledge systems. In line with NAP now, sir. 23 onwards.
So you already need to model.
Sir, 4 subjects now credits 50%.
50%, yes. So now we are actually increasing the neurons and the connections. Right? So no longer restricted to only 64. It is probably another 30 more.
Yes.
Right? So why 30 more? Let's make it century model. Yes. So 100 subjects. 100 subjects in a matter of 4 years. What? But that is what engineering is for you. That's why I said there is no other course on this planet Earth which gives such a large exposure. Whether I know all that 100 is a matter of debate, but then I'm getting exposure to all of this. How much does a commerce graduate or even a postgraduate put together and gets exposed to? Probably 1/10 of it. Right? I'm not demeaning commerce. That's a very specialized. I never understood finance. I never, even now today I'm trying hard. I never understand. That's a specialized subject. But then the sheer amount of subject exposure, topic exposure that the engineers get is humongous. That's why I said we activate a lot of neurons. If there are 10 neurons activated by commerce, we have 100 neurons.
Yes.
That's the scale at which engineers brain can work. Right? Now we need to channelize it in the right direction. The easiest way is to work in the wrong direction. But then the harder path would be to get them on right path, and that's your responsibility. So engineers, they can understand commerce, they can understand finance, right? Engineering work के MBA finance करके बैंक में नौकरी कर रहा है. Engineering क्यों कर रहा था? I was what I'm saying is, engineers or that animal called engineer, right, is the only animal which is the most it seems to be like a joke, but this is engineering stream is the only stream which makes students future ready. We are talking about future readiness. Engineering is the only stream. I'm talking with numbers, right? No other stream. Engineering के बाद जो भी करना है करो, no problem. Engineering brings in that versatility. Engineering brings in that various thinking approach, right? So your core competencies and your core abilities get enhanced, and that would lead my 21st century learner who's capable of learning new things, unlearning old things, and relearning the same things. I'll give you our own examples. If you are fond of databases, right? Many of you are fond of databases. We've all been structured to use DBMS, DBMS. What is the compartment of relationship management, ERD, ERD modules, models. Unless and until there is no primary key and foreign key, I will not go ahead. My data model is not complete. Excuse me. All of that is not for us. My rows have become columns, my columns have become rows. Thanks to Mongo, Banana, Zookeeper. The concept database. Like on I'm doing this. I'm doing the learn, unlearn, and relearn. This is what your move forward is. And who better than engineers can do this? That is what it is for you guys. Right? So I know people make fun of engineers. That's okay. We are the best stand-up comedians also. So
We are best at everything.
yes, we are the most adaptable animal on this planet Earth. Darwin Baba made us exclusive. Engineers are the fittest. If I add commerce to it, if I add finance to it, we will beat up everybody.
So we have started.
Yes. Okay, yes, thank you for your time. And if you still have any questions. Right. Yes, sir, over to you.
Thank you very much, Atul sir. At the end of the session, I would like to put in thanks to Atul sir for making his valuable time and coming over to the institute and guiding the participants with the fruitful things. And also the number game sir has shown to us, because many of us are like going into regular teaching learning process. We don't even have an idea about this number game. But I think the session was very fruitful and very informative to everyone. So I would like to thank Atul sir from the entire community department and our institute, JSPM Rajesh Institute of College of Engineering, to come over here and to take session for us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Very motivating, very energetic sessions.
We got a new idea of India.
Yes.
All the reflection to come on that to we have to.
He's ready for all. 302 number.